the May 19th meeting of Athens Planning Commission. It's at 12:11, and this is a regular meeting, so the first thing we do is establish a quorum in which we have 4 out of 5 members here, and perhaps one coming up on the elevator, who knows. And I'd like to administer an oath to anyone. Matt, you want to stand? And if you're are you going to talk? Are you going to talk?
Possibly. Depends on what you do.
Okay.
Possibly.
Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Disposition of minutes. I've been gone for a long time, so somebody tell me if there are any corrections other than Paula's usual grammatical stuff.
Well, Patty pretty much had this one down. I did not see
Congrats,
any changes. You indeed were. Are we doing two or just one? May 5th, thank you.
May 5th?
So
okay.
You were absent, but I would move to approve.
Okay. All in favor? Or I need a second? Yes. Second by Christy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3 and 1 abstention because I wasn't here. And so we're in case number 1, the first case I should say, 1606, 19 Water Tower Drive, wireless communications special use permit. Who's talking on that?
Good afternoon, Commission. What we'd like to address is a Title 43 wireless communications review for 39 Water Tower Drive, OU. AT&T Mobility is planning to upgrade and add equipment to new antennas to existing tower, 149-foot self-supporting structure. The modifications are similar to the previous request of case 1603, dated May 19th. That should be May 13th, which were conducted on an 149-foot existing platform. This new request involves modifying the platform at the 137-foot level on the tower. No changes to the height or the footprint of the tower will be made. AT&T is proposing to modify the platform by removing 6 power wave antennas and replacing them with 9 similar size antennas. Proper supporting documents were provided for the structural analysis of wind and foundation requirements. After review of the documents, it was determined that they met with code requirements under Title 43. The facts: NB&C Network Building and Consulting, LLC, 6095 Marshall Drive, Elkridge, Maryland, is the applicant. Property owner is the state of Ohio. Tower owner is American Tower Corporation of 3500 Regency Parkway, Suite 100, Cary, North Carolina. The site location again is the 39 Water Tower Drive in Athens. It's zoned E1. The estimated value of the improvement is $7,500.
So is this the wave of the future that they'll put a second set?
Yes, the platform is already there.
Okay.
They're just replacing the antennas with probably more powerful wavelength antennas. Some of the antennas are actually smaller than the ones they're replacing.
And they're able to do this because of the height of the tower?
That's correct.
I did reach out to High University to see if they had any issues because it's on their property, and I have not heard back. But I would like to move to recommend with the condition that High University has no objections to these improvements on their property.
Do I have a second to an additional comment? Question? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. The next item on our agenda, misplaced, is Title 21, a minor lot split on 70 Columbus Road, case 1607.
Yes, this is Title 21, minor lot split of 70 Columbus Circle in Athens. The request for a minor lot split of 70 Columbus Circle. The lot split involves a 20-acre parcel held by Athens Health Realty, LLC, to be split into 2 parcels. The first parcel, 6 acres, will have the Laurels of Athens. The second parcel will comprise of a 13-acre retention pond and freshwater emergent wetlands. This parcel also borders the Hocking River and acts as a stormwater runoff area for the Laurels of Athens. This lot split request has been made to aid in the application of a HUD refinancing for the Laurels of Athens property which is held by Athens Health Realty LLC. Athens Health Realty LLC is owned by Athens Health Realty Holding and Mr. Frank Murphy. The HUD requires the Athens Health Realty to be a single-purpose entity in order to allow the refinancing. The current requirement of the Athens Health Realty LLC is to hold the parcels continuous and contiguous, which does not agree with the HUD requirements. The applicant's lot split request to allow the 13-acre parcel and the contiguous and contiguous requirements to be transferred to the Health Realty Holdings LLC. This request does not meet the requirements of Title 21 subdivision requirements, subdivision and site design. This split would provide for the landlocked parcel with no road access. It would be in the best interest of the City of Athens to hold Athens Health Realty LLC or Athens Health Realty Holdings accountable for the requirement of contiguous and contiguous. In addition, a requirement for a road easement to access the 13-acre parcel. We also think it should be required to be placed as a deed restriction. The applicant is Mike Bruni of 561 Leeds Gate, Wadsworth, Ohio. Property owner is Athens Health Realty LLC, 70 Columbus Circle. The site location is parcel A as in alpha, 0282000006107, 70 Columbus Circle. The original acreage was 54 acres of that property. The zoning, the records indicate that the zoning for this parcel is actually R3 and D3.
Any questions on this?
A couple of them. We're talking about 20-acre parcels on this map, because there is still existing 54, almost 55 acres.
Sorry, say again?
I'm asking, there still remains almost 55 acres on this whole property as a whole that we're seeing.
There's the other one that was behind the special. There's a color.
Okay.
Rick does there's a third one that they split off with an easement along the edge when I was still on council. And that's on the south side?
This is the original, yeah.
Oh, the original, okay.
The 54, whatever, is this piece plus this
Right.
original back here. That's
Yeah.
the 54.
That's the 54.
These two were already split.
So it's a lesser amount.
Yes.
Correct.
I think he has it in the reports. First parcel is 6.827 acres, and then the second is 13.202.
That was one I was wondering about.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
No,
I needed to look at, I wanted to look at these lines
The
on
print's
the
rather
division.
small, I apologize.
Pardon me?
The print's rather small, I apologize.
I have just generally some concerns about moving forward without having someone here to speak to this, because I think this is a relatively complicated lot split in terms of the access easement that they mentioned, in terms of if we would let go of the continuous and contiguous requirement, potentially drainage easements on the secondary property.
You mean on the one they're splitting? Right?
Yeah.
To say nothing about the other one.
Right. And so most of that undeveloped property, most of that undeveloped new parcel is in the floodplain, so there are questions about how, whether that can be developed or not. In any case, I just think, and my understanding is they're trying to seek a variance from HUD to the contiguous requirements, and we don't know what the outcome of that is at this point.
That's correct. They were supposed to go to HUD board today, but
Okay.
they hadn't received any emails or notification of any type yet, as of this meeting.
So I think I would just feel more comfortable knowing what happened with that and having somebody here to talk through a willingness to address drainage easements, access easements, all those kinds of things that will have to be addressed as part of this.
And not an engineer, the developer, please. I think that we could consider this the first reading or the first introduction, because I think we've considered doing this, asking for, in a complex problem such as this one, asking for that. First an intro, and then
That sounds
there's pretty
great.
much, are you in agreement? Somebody make a motion?
Well,
Okay, go ahead and ask.
I had one more question. This is just a general question. In here it indicates located in an R3 and a B3. Is the 13 acres? Can you tell me what that is? Is that R3 or is that's the B3?
It's R3.
Is the 13 acres in the floodway?
That's right.
Could we also consider the next time
It is.
having them rezone it to open space, that second parcel? The one that is...
Yeah.
Because I live above it and I look down and you say, oh my goodness, there's a lot of water down there.
There's a lot of
Right.
Beyond the confines that they have. And it's not a great looking space. I mean, the place looks bulldozed
Either
recently.
Right.
That makes sense.
Well, and
More
I
sense.
certainly, I
Did I
think,
say R3?
R3,
Where
maybe.
B3.
Okay.
B3 even worse.
I'm sorry.
That's what I was wondering. The R3, I'm sorry, the R3 is the Laurels itself.
The Laurels itself is the R3.
Correct. That's
The
what I
13,
thought.
This is the B3.
And there's potential for developments up on the south side and up the hill, isn't there, Rick?
Yes.
And I think that they'll need every single bit of drainage and water retention that they have here. And I can just see somebody saying, oh, look at that, 20 acres. And we might suggest that if they develop this. Open space is perfect for this. We're giving them a concession. I don't know if we can mandate it, but there it is.
Because it requires the variances, they would have to go back up to city council once we make a recommendation. So, point of order question is, are we moving to table it?
I don't know about table, but just a second. Well, we could do that. Is there a second
To table?
to table?
I would second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. So you might communicate to them that at least one of us is considering asking them to designate that as open space. All right, we're moving right along. Proposed subdivision bonding language changed to the Ohio Athens Code.
Athens City.
The Athens City Code. I bet you really love looking at my back. All right, who's talking? I guess it's your word.
Very good. This is subdivision bonding language change recommended to ACC 21.08.02A. Recommend changes. These changes will not remove the protections from the city. Having 100% bond in place for 2 years beyond the end of the project is unnecessary and excessive. Because the work is done, a 10% maintenance bond is sufficient to repair anything that would fail in the 2 years after the work is complete. Attached is Athens City Code 28.08.02A, provides a recommended language change to the current code. Attachment B is an example of developer maintenance bond comparisons from local municipalities, provides a comparison of other municipality bond rates with the additional maintenance bond proposal example. I also have language from an email from Andy Stone, the engineer, city engineer. I'll read that. Current subdivision regulations require a developer to post a bond for 110% of the value of the public's infrastructure. They are proposing for the duration of the construction, then maintain that bond with the city for a 2-year maintenance period after the SSD accepts the completed infrastructure. Additionally, current law is silent on wage rates that the construction valuation should be using and does not say who is to prepare the valuation. Feedback from developers has indicated that bonding companies will not bond a development for 110% of the cost of the construction during a 2-year period after the project is complete. This is perhaps due to a tightening of the construction bond market after the housing crisis, due to a lot of bonding companies left holding the bag when developers went bankrupt. The proposed changes require the developer to post a 100% bond during construction, then switch to a 10% bond during the 2-year maintenance window. This is consistent with many other cities, to include Delaware, who is one of the fastest growing communities in the nation. Additionally, the changes require the developer to use a professional engineer to prepare the estimate and the state of Ohio prevailing wage rates to be used in the opinion of cost. This is very important since the idea of bond is if the developer failed to perform, the city would seize the bond and finish the work. But a city must pay prevailing wage under Ohio law. This discrepancy is in our current code would mean a 40% difference in cost. Of note, the situation with the previous University Estates Phase 1 bond is a different matter. The city was operating under the term of the federal lawsuit settlement agreement, where the judge ordered the city to cooperate with the developer. The developer asked to withdraw his bond so he could refile it with another bonding company in another state. In the spirit of cooperation, the city allowed that. However, he never refiled the bond with the city and declared bankruptcy. I support this change. Andy Stone, city engineer.
Who did this, I'm being vocal tonight. Who put together this spreadsheet?
Atlas Ventures. They provided, and I did some follow-up on it.
I will just share with you that we are the only statutory city listed here.
Okay.
These are all charter cities. I'm curious as to why we didn't have some reference back to similar cities.
Okay.
Many are suburban, too.
So this is essentially just separating the initial construction bond from the maintenance bond, right?
Yes.
We're not really changing.
Well, the language changes.
Right, I understand the language is changing, but like in terms of what's being required of the contractor, it's basically separating it out into the bond that's required during the construction phase from the bond that's required post-construction for maintenance. Okay.
Correct.
I'm feeling a little burnt from University Estates Phase 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Had we had, the full money in place, that wouldn't have to go through the whole assessment and where we are today. So I have concerns.
Understand.
Jeff?
I just want to ask,
Hey. Sorry. I lost all my...
I also promise to tell the truth because I do know it.
You've already been sworn as a council member, haven't you?
Okay.
Or sworn out.
My question is, I heard what you said, and your statements come from the construction companies concerning the bond market right now. What I'd like to hear is something from a bond company telling me what the state of the bond market is. I understand where the contractor's coming from, but if I don't want to hear a statement that from a contractor saying, well, this is what the bond companies are doing for us. I'd like to hear the bond company saying, this is what we're doing with the contractors. See the difference? It might be a different story. Maybe what you're saying is absolutely 100% correct. I don't know. But I'd like to hear the bond company's story about, oh, no, we just don't do that type of thing anymore. Or yes, we do. Why do you think we changed? Who told you that? I'm torn here.
Could you imagine that if we ask for this, we could get it done in 2 weeks before the next meeting? Okay. Do you think?
I think so. Okay.
Matt? Is that where you come in? See, it's a good thing we swore you in.
Matt Geiser with Atlas Ventures. I hear what you're saying on this. I would like to add that we have talked to 3 different bonding companies. I don't know that we can get a bonding company to come and present because they don't have a dog in this fight and it doesn't matter to them. Right? I mean, if we want to hire a consultant from a bonding company, that might be possible. But what we have run into is that the current code language, we can't buy a bond. We can't get a bond based on the current language because the language wants the performance bond to be in place 24 months after completion, after acceptance. Well, if they could sell us that, which they can't, the product doesn't exist, they would be liable for selling us a product that cannot be performed on because the performance bond is up to the date of completion. And so if a developer wouldn't complete the road, the performance bond kicks in and completes the road. Once it's accepted by the city is signed off that it is completed, even if what you guys have in the code today were able to be purchased, it would not pay for a failure in the road. because it's a performance bond to complete work, not to maintain and do maintenance. So there is no provision in the code to allow a maintenance bond versus a performance bond. In fact, it does state that the performance bond carries through for 24 months after acceptance. So what the code is asking for doesn't exist anymore. And I think that's probably where some of Andy's language comes in, that maybe years ago there wasn't that big of a differentiation and the performance bond was okay. Now, I mean, they're telling us that it's not even possible to purchase. So we went back and we looked at multiple projects, said, okay, who was the last contractor that abided by this code and did this 24 months bond after, right? And Mrs. Bain, I think possibly Oakmont, maybe. I spoke with Mr. Hayes. He doesn't remember. Nobody can remember, and I didn't do the research. He thinks he did a letter of credit, an irrevocable letter of credit, and maybe didn't even do the bond afterwards. But Oakmont would have been the last project that would have had to comply with this code.
Phase 4?
That I don't know, Ms. Bain.
Okay.
But it's that long ago, and yet bonding has changed since Oakmont greatly because of the 2006, 2007, so the bonding world has changed. That is a fact.
We do want something that works, Matt, but
I understand.
that's why I was asking you if you thought, or asked.
Yeah, and we could get a letter from bonding companies. I mean, we have gone to 3 different bonding companies on one thing, and they all said the same thing. We can't. If we sold you that, the one guy said, he said I would be liable for selling you a product that can't be collected on.
So the maintenance bonding does exist. These other municipalities that are doing the 10 to 20%, as I'm looking at this, there must be something else there. They wouldn't be doing this.
Oh yeah, we can get a maintenance bond.
Okay.
Yeah, but
It's just a performance bond that's 110% once the job is complete.
Well, you get maintenance bond for different amounts, but the code does not allow for us to get a maintenance bond. It doesn't allow for that. And Ms. I'll be honest, I don't know the difference between statutory and what is that, the charter?
There are different forms of government. So statutory, we have to follow the Ohio Revised Code.
Oh,
It would
okay.
be worth it to look into the ORC.
Oh, okay, so you're saying there might be a ORC that, okay. I was just curious because that wasn't an intentional oversight on our part. We actually asked bonding companies to give us the standard in what cities, and those were the highest that we could find. We felt like there's a lot of municipalities that are smaller that had lesser amounts. These were the highest that we could find in the state of Ohio on the maintenance bond. I didn't want to, 2% probably wouldn't have gotten very far here.
As long as we have it, it'd be better than what we did.
A question for the code director. Had you looked at any statutory cities?
No, I have not.
So could we ask you to?
Yes.
That would be.
Yes, I can do a follow-up.
And that way, no financial encumbrances would be incurred, right? Because you're doing. Okay. So, is that a?
I
Open
must
camera.
correct, Canton is listed as a statutory city, but this says Canton, Ohio, Stark County, so it's one
I
section.
don't want to speak to that. I don't.
So, do we have a plan then to proceed with?
Christie, I don't know if you-
Kristen, you have
Well, I mean, I just feel like looking at the language, basically, the performance bond that would have been in place before is not going away. There's still a 100% performance bond.
Correct.
That would not go away until the construction was completely signed off on.
And
Right?
Correct.
So,
It's enforcement.
right, so that's something that we're not losing in this change of language. I guess the question would be, in terms of the maintenance bond, is 10%. Is everybody good with that? And that seems consistent with what we have in the existing language. So I don't have any particular problem with the new language.
you want me to call a vote, or should we ask for more information? You're going to do it? I mean, we're too. Okay, any other, I was trying to count noses and not doing very well. Are you ready to, would you like the additional information?
I would like the additional information.
As would I.
Do you, do you have a time crunch going on, or?
November 2015. That'd be good.
Hey, we
Yeah, I mean, we are in a very big time crunch. We are.
2 weeks.
We've already held this up for 8 months because of all this to figure out what to do. We wanted to try to put a maintenance bond in place, but as you know, we tried to figure out, well, since this language doesn't work, everyone agrees it doesn't work. And we've since had a code director change in the midst of all this, and everything had to, and this wasn't the only issue that Rick had to get up to speed on when he came in, I'm sure. But this, we put everything on hold last October because of this, because we couldn't get a bond.
I don't understand why. Because you need a performance bond in place at 100% of required improvements with the labor rates, which, maybe that's being struck. We're not even to the point of a maintenance bond yet, so I don't know why you wouldn't have proceeded with performance bond.
Because when you accept the property, we have no bond.
If you're telling me you haven't even begun construction because you haven't provided the performance bond to even begin the construction, to me, I view these as two separate things. Am I missing it?
Well,
because then you come back for what would be the maintenance bond at the expiration.
Well, no, you don't have a provision for, you don't allow a maintenance bond right now.
We allow right now a performance bond, a certified check, or irrevocable letter of credit.
After completion, right?
Prior to the approval and recording of the final plat.
So
if we started construction and we're done, we do our 100% performance bond, and we get done, and the city accepts it, then what? We can't buy the next bond that the code requires for the next 2 years. And I'm not going to start a project today hoping that in 12 weeks when we're done, 12 to 13 weeks when we're done, that you guys will accept a maintenance bond versus a performance bond. We asked that question. I mean, it's tough for us to start something hoping that by the end of it, we'll figure something out.
I just view this as a little, maybe it's just me, a significant change. So I would respectfully request 2 more weeks.
I agree. Well, let me ask this. I mean, is 2 weeks going to create, some excessive hardship on what you're trying to accomplish? Because as I look at this,
Excessive hardship? No.
Well, since we are a statutory city, my only concern is, in not knowing this, is how does this jive with ORC?
And that I don't know. I mean, this recommendation is not coming from us. Obviously, this is coming from administration because we tried to do a project and can't proceed.
Understood.
And what we found out is that the code is impossible. It doesn't work. You can't buy the product, and we can't proceed. Can we get a variance to code for one project? And I was told, no, you can't get a variance to a code. The only way to do this is to change it. So I believe Mr. Stone spent a lot of time, like I said, this started a long time ago, in figuring out if this was correct, and has ultimately come to the conclusion that the maintenance bond is what needs to be in place, and the code doesn't allow for a maintenance bond. Only a performance bond.
Matt, do you have plans for your PUD? I mean, do you have...
No, it's not for the... I was joking about the PUD.
I have a
This isn't going
interest.
on your neighboring property.
It's not neighboring, it's just up the hill.
Have we seen the project?
Yeah, yes.
What,
We have an approved project, yes, that you guys looked at a few months ago.
the church?
No, this is for the continuation of a road at University Estates
Oh,
into Homestead Court.
Okay.
The plans are approved. We've got 40 pages of engineered drawings. It's ready to go. We've got our permits. I mean, I met with the EPA today up there. Everything's good. We're ready And I've spent a lot of money on this and losing a lot of money on this monthly because we had lots sold last fall that we had to get deposits back for and everything else because this all came to a stop. We're going to do the road right. We're going to do it according to the plans. I mean, you guys have the plans. They're recorded. Andy's gone over the plans. We even agreed to upgrade the plans because we could have proceeded technically with the plans that were existing that had the C900 pipe in them, and we agreed to do the what is it, metal ductile, whatever. I'm not an engineer, yeah. I mean, we upgraded, which was like a $20,000 job change for us. We've changed manhole cover, I mean, all kinds of stuff because the plans that were there, Dr. Connor got away with some stuff, and and we have complied with Mr. Stone on everything that he's gone over and made changes. We've redone the drawings, and we had concrete companies in Columbus lined up. We had blacktop companies sitting there waiting, trying to get in before November. That all fell apart because it's impossible to buy a performance bond after the project's completed. And if you could, it wouldn't pay if there was an issue. So if we complied with code and there was an issue, you guys would have no bond in place to maintain the road. And that's what Mr. Stone came to the conclusion when we presented all this. He said, I've looked into it, you're right. And that's why and so that's why it is coming from an administrative change because the administration's agreed this doesn't work, it's not okay.
So this was all leading up to November of last year, is what is that what you said?
About August, September is when we went to get our bond. We were ready. Okay. I mean, we brought the plans, we changed the plans, we upgraded the plans, and we were ready to start, and we went to the bonding company to buy the bond. And said, here's what we need, and they called and said, you can't buy that. It's not a product that exists for a performance bond after acceptance. So we didn't know at the time what a challenge it would be, and thought, well, we can work around this. Well, we'll just do a maintenance bond. And code kind of is difficult to work around when it's in black and white. This is what you got to do.
Okay. My reason for asking is, knowing that you're under time crunch now, that for me is the first time I've heard of this, and we're into construction season now as opposed to having heard about this sooner. I mean, I think 2 weeks, for me personally, it's just to know that we're not overstretching the bounds of ORC to do what's going on, because I don't know. I personally don't know. And I think that that's the more prudent thing to do.
And maybe pass it by the law director?
This is council would have to approve this as well. This is
Well, they expedite. They've been known to do that.
How many readings does this have? This has 2 readings, or I'm not sure how that process works.
It depends upon if they view it as a major change or not. I doubt that they would, but I don't know. It's requiring public hearings, but there are 3 readings, and they are taking recess during the month of July, so I understand.
So can we do
could
the
get it
first
to the
reading
first
today with
committee
some-
meeting in June.
Yeah, I think.
The 5th.
And could I,
Six.
just to let you know too, what we did is in that homestead court up there is those were already larger lots. They're very flat. They have big trees on them that we want to have stay. And we have combined lots and made almost 1 acre lots up there. And we're going to sell them. I mean, and in fact, we're only putting 1 tap, and we're putting a restriction that only 1 home can be built on those 2 lots. We're not going to physically go back and change it, and because that's a lot more time. But we're selling the lots 2 at a time. We have the plan developed, and you can only put 1 house on it. So they're going to be big lots up there. Most of them over 1 acre. The smallest one's about 3/4 of an acre. And so we're taking I don't know how many it is, 16 lots and making 7, because some of them are going to be even bigger. So it's going to be a good project.
I feel when was it approved through the Planning Commission, that project? What month?
That was approved back in, originally the plans and the drawings and the project were approved with the original development with Dr. Connor.
I'm not talking about.
So John Paskey brought the plans and everything through, I don't know, it would have had to have been August, September last year. Yeah, last year when and because they were already approved, we didn't feel comfortable just saying, well, they're approved and we'll pour a permit and we'll go. We wanted review and we brought it and presented it. And that was Mr. Stone's big thing, is he wanted some upgrades to the pipe. There have been some issues with saddles on the C900 up there, and okay, we'll do that. And we have been trying to be really cooperative and make this a good project.
Good, and I think bigger lots, yeah.
If there's any way to do this as a first reading, I don't know how that works.
We're not.
We only have one reading.
Okay.
We could do.
So you get, yeah.
Just conversation. We could move this along and recommend it to City Council, those of you that want to recommend it. But again,
You don't meet in 2
you're
weeks.
still going to
right?
get time constraints,
It's a month.
even at that level as
It's
well.
going to be
I know.
2 weeks.
What's that?
It'll be 2 weeks.
I think you guys meet in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought your next, okay, that's fine.
And we're making a permanent change to code, and you'd like to do diligence on that?
Sure.
I mean,
I think Mr. Stone's done a lot of due diligence on it. I will tell
except
you
we
that.
have the legal part, because it's the difference between, maybe I'm the only one that, maybe it's universal.
I don't know the conversations, but I do also believe that the prosecutor has been in conversations as well on this.
And we would,
But I don't know what those entailed.
I won't be presiding, but maybe RJ could communicate to the, if and when we pass it,
Or
that
city
we would like to,
director, sorry.
speed. Yeah. Jeff?
Up there.
Of course. Out there in TV land.
I just want to say, as a member of council, if this does come to council, unless there's a legal opinion from the law director, it's no starter. We're not going to change the code unless it really conforms to ORC.
Okay. So we'll
If there's a
We'll have
conflict there and ORC says, no, you can't do it, we can't do it.
Well, we'll find out if we proceed in that way. Okay.
Okay.
Well, that was interesting. Anybody an opinion? Yes, Matt?
As far as I said the prosecutor, I do think Lisa has talked to. At one point, we were going to have a meeting with Andy and Lisa Lyson, I believe, and then we ended up with the meeting with Andy, but she was not present. But there had been a conversation. That's all I know. I don't think that this was just Andy making decisions.
It would be good for us, at least I feel, nail down all those loose ends, so it's so you don't have trouble. Next step. That's my personal opinion.
We'll get a legal opinion from the law director before city council if that's what you want.
Before we vote on it.
Again, this is an administrative change, not coming from a developer, right? This is being presented.
This is permanent.
I'm saying that this is coming from the administration, not from me and Atlas Ventures. I just happen to be a project that will benefit from it, so I'm giving public opinion on it. This is not me asking for this. This is Mr. Stone asking for this as an administrator.
Simply because you can't, based on what you're telling us in the bond and council world, you can't attain what the code is specified.
Well, if we could obtain it, you would not be able to collect on it if the road failed. As a performance
we've
bond,
had that
which
experience
covers
before.
performing the work if it's not completed. A maintenance bond would pay for failure in the road. And so and 3 different bonding companies have stressed that to us. They haven't seen this, they don't know. So when we got to that point and Andy did his homework, basically said, yeah, I agree. And so it's coming as an administrative change from the administration, because administration has determined it's impossible. And yeah, I'm going to benefit from that and be able to complete my project, but this is not coming from me and Atlas Ventures.
Well, I also think you're hearing, and particularly from the mayor, that if this is not an attempt to delay the project.
I understand.
Building more houses, that's what should be occurring if it there. So,
And expediting will happen. with us, right? With us.
Yes.
Do I have a motion somewhere?
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Come on, you guys, somebody. Should we
I
just...
heard Christie support it. So do you want to make that motion?
Well, how about I move to support the proposed changes to subdivision bonding language in ACC 21.08.02 with the provision that a legal opinion from the law director be submitted.
But wouldn't it be good to have... do we have a second?
I will second that. You were about to say something else, but...
I mean, it seems like it's premature to ask, to attach a legal opinion if we didn't read it before we voted on it. I mean, that just seems like a conflict to me. It's just my scattered mind, maybe, but...
Well, if someone will prefer to make another motion.
Well, you have a first and a second on the table.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
The motion fails, 0 to abstain. All right, let's have a new motion. Paula? Unless I do it.
Oh.
You'd rather not?
No, I'm trying to think through this. At first I began, I feel like I need more time to absorb this and get this information, maybe get something in document from bond counsel, law director opinion.
Right, I'd like to...
But all of that I think is going to, either we're doing good work here and then presenting to city council, hey, this has all been done, or we're saying, we don't seem to have an issue with this. Here you go, City Council, and then they'll have that work to do. So that's
So
where
what's
I'm
the
struggling.
motion?
I think my motion would bring the legal opinion to City Council at the same time as this.
But are we doing our job
Change.
then? If we don't read the legal opinion before we vote on it?
Well, I would say from my perspective, as I read this makes perfect sense to me.
I agree.
I can't fathom a conflict with ORC. Obviously, if a conflict exists with ORC, that...
It would negate it.
Yes.
Right.
And so, just given the timing perspective, like the only thing that would cause me not to support this is the indication that this somehow conflicts with the Ohio Revised Code. And so, obviously, if that conflict is presented to City Council, then that's my only concern. So then they'll have that information at the time that they vote on it.
But not to put too fine a point on it, but Mr. Geiser has been working with the city since September, October, and I've heard nothing about it. And I think that it's incumbent on us to get the information we need. And so I'm going to move that we consider this at our next meeting and expedite it. Is there a second on that? Are we dead in the water? Okay, I don't care if you dies for lack of a second. All right, somebody.
You want to try again?
All right, I move that we support changes to proposed subdivision bonding language in ACC 21.08.02 with the contingency that a legal opinion from the city law director be presented to City Council along with the changes in language.
So is that a recommendation? Isn't that the word you should use, Christy, before?
Okay, so I propose...
You recommend.
I recommend...
ACC.
I recommend support for...
We recommend
Okay.
changes.
We recommend changes to the proposed, or to the subdivision bonding language in ACC 21.08.02 with the contingency that a legal opinion from the city law director be presented to City Council along with the proposed changes.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and I'm losing my voice. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
We'll
3-0.
move it on.
3-1. Okay.
There you go, Matt.
Okay, report from the city planner and the director, whatever, I can't remember what DEF is. Paul Logue.
Good afternoon. Just a couple things, if maybe not even a couple. Building Doctor Clinic is this evening, 7 p.m. at the Athens Community Center, Room B, that is open to the public if anybody's interested in attending. We do have the Ohio History Connection was allowing for consultations tomorrow for up to 10 property owners. We do have all 10 slots filled, so we're pleased about that. I'll be helping tomorrow drive the consultants around to the homes, as well as one of the volunteers from the City's Historic Preservation Commission. The sustainability planning is coming along really well now. We have we are pretty much in final review and editing of our draft. Have it in a nice format finally, thanks to Elaine Getz from the commission. She put in a template in Microsoft Publisher, and it's actually looks pretty good. She has some skills I don't have on that, so I'm really appreciative. And otherwise, we are trying to get a meeting set up for mid-June, around June 20th. We don't have a date finalized yet. We're working with the community center to get a location.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Any questions for the planner? Okay, Mr. Sarai, the co-director.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Opportunity for citizens to speak about items not covered on the agenda. We have, unfortunately, no citizens here.